Hi guys, welcome to the APAT show. It's Sunday night, of course, and it's a big one tonight. Lots to discuss, in particular, the World Championship of Amateur Poker, the details of which we announced yesterday, and Poker Squads, which reaches the end of its run after 38 odd weeks. Lee and I will be back right after this short break to take any questions that you might have on either of those two topics. We'll discuss many other things as well, of course. Good evening, Lee. We've got a lot to cover off this evening, but I'm a little sad to think that might be the last time that we run the Poker Squads promo.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a sad thing, but hey, what can you do? Apologies for the slight delay to the start. Basically, there is not enough bandwidth to cope with my lockdown hair. So basically that's the issue we've got at the moment. So, but until I get a vaccine, it's not getting cut. So that's technology we're going to have to put up with, Des, I'm afraid.
Well, we're operating not on a shoestring, but on a hairstring. Evidently, on a hairstring.
Yeah, very, very much so, yeah.
So, listen, Lee, I'm not sure we need video, albeit we'll do some bits and pieces of video. We've certainly got a few videos to show the guys
if we
tonight.
If we come up on camera and I look at all blocky, out of focus or whatever, actually, that's just me at the moment. That's nothing to, that is actually just naturally how I spend my days, so that's fine.
To be honest, that's quite expected in these days of the Minecraft craze, right? So we've simply got a Minecraft Lee on the show tonight, and that's fine. That'll be very popular. As popular as always, I'm sure.
Yeah, it won't be an issue at all, will
it? So Lee, listen, we have a ton of things to get through. So, here's just some of the things I had on my list, right? And we'll go to the chat box. Have you got a chat box open, Lee? Are we even running?
I hope so.
Can you find us?
Yeah, I've just found.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, first one in. Stefan Fisher straight with finally 15 minutes late.
Well, Stefan needs to get to bed, right? He needs to get to bed, and he's an hour ahead, so he's already lost 15 minutes of tomorrow, effectively. So we will try and get through some of the headlines early in the show. But you're quite right. Stefan is already in there. Igor follows in directly behind, saying, "Evening, everyone." We've got Corey in there as well. Triss is in there. Everybody's saying good evening. Nice friendly crowd in tonight, Lee. We've got Pete Wigglesworth. We've got Paul Haycock and 6 other people, right, just in that little box. Kelly Beecham is there. Greg Mawson says, big news week. And he's not kidding, is he? It is, in fact, a big news week. So some of the things that I think we need to cover, Lee, and because the camera... right, we're not showing the camera. I can pick up my ugly notebook. Right, I can hold it in front of the camera. Nobody's going to see. The WCOAP announcement, that's the big one. We're going to start there. The end of Poker Squads, right? The end of an era. I think Poker Squads will be talked about for some time to come. We will talk about that. We will talk about what is going to replace that next week. And then there's just a whole lot of other stuff, COVID stuff, Trump stuff, World Series of Poker stuff, and just a whole lot of other things that we've written down to discuss tonight. So before we do that, tell me what events are going on tonight, Lee. Who's in the running, and where's the focus going to be from a poker point of view for us?
Right. Well, it's Sunday night, which means it's a Sunday roller. That's going to carry on. That's for sure. 91 runners in that tonight. We're paying top 12. We're down to 14, so we're on that little. Currently, as we've just got a table up there to watch, we're playing hand for hand at the moment as we get down to the money bubble at 12. $690 up top tonight, Des. I mean, It's a cracking prize pool. Over
91 is it good?
In the prize. Yeah,
that's a good field.
Yeah, really, really good. And and don't panic. Sunday Roller will carry on. That will continue. It's a lovely little tournament. You can get in for $3.30 and feeder in if you want to, or just pay the 33 on the Sunday night. So we'll keep an eye on that and play that down to a winner. And obviously, we're going to keep an eye on the poker squads. Game week 38. Purple Ackies were at the top, and Dan Howson, I think, was leading the MVP. 127 runners in the Sunday deep stack. $5 entry in that, paying top 16. We're down to 39, so we'll latch that on once the Sunday roller is completed. And again, the Sunday deep stack will carry on long after we finish with poker squads. We'll talk
long after we're gone, later. Lee. Long after we're gone.
But of course, exciting stuff tonight, Des, because the first couple of WCOAP satellites
That's it.
have been running. Got 49 runners in each of them tonight. Five tickets guaranteed in each. So there was an $11 satellite for main event tickets, five $109 main event tickets, and there were $5.50 satellite with 5 lots of $55 tickets to get you into any of the other side events. 49 runners in each of those tonight. They're both still running. They're running currently on aliases, so it's table names, but we are going to get that switched to real names. So at the moment, I recognize some of the players, but of course we've been real names right through lockdown. So these aliases don't really mean a huge amount to me, to be honest. It's I much prefer the real name, and we know who we're talking about. But we'll keep an eye on that as well. But that's super exciting to see that, and I'm loving the new graphics, Mr. Duffy. That? Very nice indeed.
Look at that.
Yeah, very smart indeed.
Well, it's a big week. As Greg Mawson said, it's a big news week, right? There's a lot going on. But I think
lots going on.
I was having a chat with scouts, on the or within the group, just prior to the show this evening, maybe an hour or 2 hours ago, and he's obviously concerned, and he won't be alone, that the main series of WCOAP events, and we'll get into the meat and bones of this shortly. At $55 for a side event seat, $109 for a main event seat, and then there are a couple of higher roller games. A little concerned that actually I'm not going to be able to play all of the games, and I think that's a reasonable concern. I think to play 16 events, that sort of buy-in, is going to take a significant chunk of investment, right? A significant chunk of anyone's bankroll that. But I think, the headline here is that, we have worked for months and months and months with Party to get a big festival feel to the APAT World Championship of Amateur Poker. There are going to be a lot of sats happening. There are going to be a lot of guaranteed seats available from $5.50. So, get into those sats. There's bound to be value. There's bound to be overlay. And, basically get into your events that way. I mean, that's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there's already been a few discussions, and obviously comparing online to live. And I'll say it here now, and I will keep saying it. Comparing live to online for a World Championship of Amateur Poker, it is chalk and cheese.
Yeah, absolutely.
The experience of playing a Worlds at a live venue, the camaraderie, the social aspect, for a lot of people it's traveling, and it's a week off work maybe, and all that kind of thing, and it's a holiday for some people. So I completely get that, and we wouldn't ever want to necessarily compare the two or try and make them work. They both have their merits. They both have their upsides. They both have the downsides. I think what we can do with an online version, and this is by far away the biggest online fest that got together, and it's been great working with the guys at Party Poker to get this all organized. Is I think it's a great opportunity that we can run the number of satellites that we can to get into these events. And you can play everything if you want to play everything. Now, I've had plenty of people already messaging me saying, I fancy having a go at that player of the series, Lee. Yeah, I quite fancy that, or we had a week planned to have a week off work, and actually we're just going to change that and do it on the, across the week of the Worlds, because we fancy giving those a go. So it'll work for a lot of people. We know it's not going to work for everybody, but that's no different than the live event would have been.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
It's suitable for some and not for others.
I'm gonna do two things here, Lee. One, I'm gonna try and put the video on. Let's just see what happens for a couple of minutes, and so that's giving you a little warning. Right, there we go. So the video is now on, and number two, I'm gonna challenge you. on one of those points. So
Go for
yes, live and online, non-comparable. But if your variable is price, if your variable is cost, then you'd have to say, if you want to win that WCOAP bracelet, and it'll be the same bracelets that you'd win live, then it's going to cost you less to do so. And
yes, significantly, yes.
And the amount of prize money available is many times more. It's much, much more than it would have been in a live venue. So if you have the budget to play live, where the costs are going to be, extortionately high in comparison, then in theory you have the budget to play online if you should want to. But without question, the experience is different. No argument with that.
Yeah. No, completely agree. I think there'll be plenty of opportunities, and the way to do it is, have a look at the schedule, target the ones that you want to play. There's currently generic satellites, which basically will give you a ticket to buy into any of them. Nearer to each of the events, there'll be more specific satellites actually targeted at that event, which will have some decent guarantees on them to get you into those. So yeah, you'll have plenty of opportunity to get into the events that you want to play. And as you say, the prize pools size-wise are going to be huge.
Got to be fantastic.
They really are. It's good. I'd love to play them. Don't know about you, Des, but
I'd love to play. I'd love to play a couple, because the standard will be well beyond my capabilities. But I was having this discussion with you, Lee, and we'll look into this in a little more detail. I've obviously put the website up there as well. That because our most loyal, our most regular APAT players have been playing competitive poker day in, day out for 38, 39 straight weeks, I can't help but think, it's the core 100 odd members that have been playing squads every day, for example. They're very well set up to tackle some of these events. Their eye is in, their head is very much in the game. They're not coming in cold, and they've been playing against very good players week in, week out. I'd be surprised if some of our regulars aren't all over the prize money sort of at the end of the series. But with all of that said, of course, you have to play within your bankroll. You've got to play within your means, right? Because there's no guarantees in this game. But I think it's not coming at a bad time for some of our more experienced players, would be my view. So what do you want to tell us about the schedule, Lee? Do you want me to bring up the...
Yeah, well, it wouldn't help whilst you're on the website there. So first of all, we've got a new website, guys. All spangly, fresh and new. If you haven't registered on apat.com, please go and do that. Even if you've had a forum account from day one, or you've played with us, live or whatever. If you could just go and re-register on there, it takes 30 seconds to do. Just pop your name and details in. It means we've then got you registered, which means we can then easily organize, should you win any of the added value, we can make sure that goes in the right place for you. But then on the website, nice, easy, really good on mobile devices and iPads and things like that. So you can just go through to the WCOP page via the events section, and there you'll see it. Two schedules at the moment on there, the main schedule, and as you scroll down there to the mini series. Love the mini series. It's a 10th of the buy-in. So you can even play the high roller and the super high roller in that schedule as well. They run the same time as the main. One event a night. They're all 2-day events, apart from the 2 turbo events towards the end of the series. So pretty much you'll play down into the money in day one is the aim, and then come back for the following day to play it out to a conclusion. Roughly speaking, all of the events, I think apart from the heads up, start at 7:15 UK time, and I've got a run time in day one till about 1 in the morning. Is roughly where it goes. Then it's back again for the day twos, same time, 7:15, and we're aiming for most of those tournaments then on a day two to finish somewhere between 11 and 12 o'clock. Obviously, it depends on runners and exactly how the play goes, but that's the aim. Now, there's obviously been some discussions already in the Facebook group about timings. It's finding the right pinch point, which means start times that cover not just UK time, but also, worldwide players, and also trying to, take into account finishing times for people. But hopefully, if you're already kind of, it's kind of getting to midnight and you're in the money, or you're just starting to get in the money, you've got an idea that, well, okay, this is good. If you knew it was midnight and you had another 3-4 hours of play to go, well, that's a different thing altogether. So I think this is just about right for amateur players, which is what obviously we're aimed at. Other thing to say about the schedule, everything's a freeze out, so there's no re-entries, so it's one shot at everything. The late reg has been reduced, but it's enough time for if 7:15 is in the evening UK time is still too early for you, you're still putting the kids to bed, or you're still sorting out their homeschooling or dinner plans or whatever, and you want to jump into these tournaments later, you've roughly got till between 9 and 10 o'clock most nights to get your late reg in. But it's not, again, 4, 5, 6 hours of late reg, Des, which obviously tends to frustrate a lot of players when it's kind of a moving goalpost, isn't it? So what they're playing for. And
for a big festival, taking place on a party, and there's obviously been quite a few big festivals taking place over the last 6 odd months. Freeze outs. The fact that we're running freeze outs, I think, is really important. It is one bullet. Maybe you can buy in a little bit later, but not too late. But it's about one bullet, and you takes your chances, as they say. The other point to bring up, Lee, we are going to have the APAT show running throughout the series. So, we in our typical style, will be talking about all sorts of everything, I'm sure. But I sense, because I'm quite looking forward to this one, that we'll put more of a focus on poker in this one than perhaps we have done, for quite some time. So I'm really looking forward to the APAT show, and we've got the added bonus that on the 1st, 4th, and 8th of February, so for three of our biggest guaranteed events, we'll be doing Cards Up streaming. So you'll have Lee, myself, maybe we'll have some guests join us in the booth, as it were, over the duration, but we'll be looking at your cards, and that will be super interesting, I'm sure. There'll be, I don't know, typically what do we see, Lee? Maybe a 15-minute, a 20-minute delay.
It'll probably
on the cards.
Between a 20 and 30-minute delay. So again, those particular nights, we'll let you know what's going on, and obviously the show will be on a delay. So that's just about those streams tend to work best if everybody does the right thing, nobody puts any spoilers in or anything like that, and everyone can enjoy that stream with Cards Up. Really looking forward to those nights, because I think they'll be superb. When they've been running on Party Poker for other events, they've always been really interesting to watch, and we get to experience a bit of that, so it should be good. Fantastic.
Well, we go from the new, Lee, right? The exciting story of the WCOAP coming to us. And guys, let's before we move on, as it were, please pitch your questions in the chat box. Is there anything you want to talk about specifically with regards to the World Championship? Do let us know. Just going back to the chat box, Lee, Kev O'Hanlon joined us. Natalie Bromley is there. Holler, she's saying hello, I guess. John Late is there. Hola dudes. Gary Holland says good evening. Marion Giori says good evening. Stefan says, yes, thank you, Lee. I live in CET time zone. Indeed. Don't we know it, Lee? Don't we know it? Andy Kearns is there. Eddie Niascu is there. Kev says evening. All evening to you, Kev. Same for Eddie. Tris says, there they are. PGN Duncan XX. He's getting his own back for the tripling comment. That's what he's up to there. He's just getting his own back.
It's all right.
Natalie says Newport Town. Newport Town. Did they?
It means Newport County. I haven't seen the score. What's the score?
Don't know. Who are they playing?
I haven't seen the score.
Playing as their,
it was the.
Don't know.
It was against. They're playing Brighton tonight in the cup.
Oh right. Well, there you go. Natalie, do tell us. Haven't seen an update on that.
I'm going to look now, because obviously we've got a huge Newport fan in the APAT community, and Steve Roderick.
Is Rodders a huge Newport fan? Excellent. Natalie did correct herself immediately. She said county. So Stefan says live is much better for my holidays. Yeah, agree. It's,
wow.
What have they done?
Do you want to know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Brighton took the lead in the 90th minute to go 1-0 up. Newport equalised in the 90th +6 with an own goal. and it went to penalties in the end, and Brighton won 4-3 on penalties.
Oh, unlucky Newport
Wowzers.
County.
I played a schools cup final once on Newport's old ground. Yeah, it used to be Somerton Park when they were a league team. They now play. They share their ground with one of the rugby teams now. But
that was I played football once upon a time. Brag.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Big old pitch. That was one of the biggest pitches in the league they had before they went bust. They financially went bust, but then came back. It used to be the Exiles for a while. They used to play. They had to play in England for a little while.
Well, I tell you what, I watched I watched about 60 minutes of the Marine Spurs game. Absolutely fascinating to see a team from the 8th level taking on a Premier League team at their own ground,
about, isn't it?
Absolutely fantastic.
All about.
People were stood in their own gardens watching the game. It was absolutely fantastic.
It was superb. I thought the banter of watching the Spurs substitute, you used to think they sat there and Gareth Bale sat on the,
oh my God, at
on
Marine.
the bench there,
Fantastic.
But I thought everybody it was the right spirit, the whole thing.
Spirit was fantastic.
Everyone took it in the right way, and it was very, very good. Good
no,
game.
Absolutely. We've got Scouse. Scouse is in the house. Hey to you, Steve. Rob Swindells, Charles Mason, Tim Magnus. We've got Marius Hatupatu. Pasu. I may have murdered that, Marius. My apologies if I did. Carl, the skipper, Pilgrim is there. Greg says, cards upstream. He likes that. We're getting the thumbs up there. Trish said, wow, that bubble in the roller. Well, like Newport County, we might well have missed that one. So Gary just concerned.
Well, it's just gone. The bubble has just burst. We're down to 11 players now. So we'll pick it up once we get to the final table there. So. Sorry, I'm getting sent WhatsApp messages of people sending photos of me on the screen.
Are you blocky? Are you Minecraft Lee? That's all I need to know.
Very blocky, yeah.
You look like Minecraft Lee to me, I have to say.
Yeah.
So an iron, and I know you had a little scrape over the last couple of days at night. So it's good to see you on the stream, my friend. I hope you're feeling better. What's with the Beckham 90s haircut there, Lee? So he wants to know, my friend. He wants to know. Stefan, that is what you call a bad beat in football. Missed that. Pitch was like a ploughed field. It was indeed. Yanni has joined us, so hi to you, Yanni. And Warren Brooks, anyone notice Ian Wright wearing a Marine beanie? Didn't actually. No, he was well wrapped up. Everybody was well wrapped. Looked bloody cold up there, I have to say.
Very good if he was, though. That's
absolutely right. So that's us up to date in the chat box. So guys, no questions on WCOAP. That's a good thing, I guess.
If you do, just chuck them in there. I mean, we know there's going to be lots. I'm actually going to pull together a lot of the stuff that's coming through Facebook in the past 24 hours and anything you guys post tonight, and we'll get a little frequently asked questions section up on the website. So actually, you guys can help us do that. If you've got anything, however silly you might think it is, fire it at us, because it might well be something, save somebody else asking the question or us having to repeat the answer. So we do appreciate those. It's never a silly question, just sometimes a silly answer, Des, yeah?
No, absolutely. It is what it is. So Lee, poker squads. We are shutting down poker squads. And to be honest, it's had a fantastic run, and maybe it's coming to the end of its life in some respects. Certainly it is in that we're pulling it from here on in. Maybe it bounces back at some stage. But what can you tell the guys about what's coming next week?
So what we're going to do, I mean, what I should just say first of all, and I feel it's right to say it, is we've had lots of discussions with lots of people about the team element of squads, and it wasn't a decision we took lightly, but we felt it was the right thing to do. And as I put out on the statement on Facebook, it's simply a case that the team element of poker squads conflicts too heavily with how a normal tournament should play out online, and it's not fair for anybody, because it just puts people in an awkward situation. It's not one particular incident. It's a discussion that's been taking place for probably the last couple of months, really, in and out. But that's where we're at. So how are you changing graphics with me?
What I'm doing here, Lee, right? You just carry on talking, and because my stream is good quality,
it's like,
I'll pretend. I'll pretend it's either me talking or that I'm you.
That's fantastic.
Okay.
So there's me talking something absolutely serious, and just you're there with it. But anyway, so that's what we've done. We've made that decision. So, but the plan is this: actually, the 7 p.m. and the 8 p.m. tournaments that we've already got on the schedule are going to stay, and we're basically just going to roll it up into a weekly individual leaderboard. And for the next couple of weeks, we're going to pop some World Championship of Amateur Poker tickets as added value for those. So you can carry on playing, your favorite tournaments at 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. each night. It's the $11 ones on at 7 p.m., the $5.50 at 8 p.m. We're going to roll that up into individual leaderboards. We'll pop the details up of that on Monday, and we're going to throw some Worlds tickets for the next couple of weeks to give guys a bit of a kickstart into their World schedule. So that's the plan.
Nice. Like it. I think there will be some good fun to be had in those events going forward. And, I noted one or two comments. Tim Magnus stood out to me, really appreciated the series over the whole lockdown period, really since March. And, a little concerned that maybe the numbers might drop off because of the lack of the team element. And it's true that may happen. But, we are here as a community, whether it's in the group or playing the events at party or on the APAT show, whatever. So, you don't need your teammates around you to come and play. If you feel up for a game, come and play. And I hope that we won't see too much drop off at all, but we will see.
No, I think with everything that's going on with the Worlds, and we saw lots of players play over the 2 weeks over the Christmas period when we took a break with the leaderboards as well. So, but I fully understand what Tim's saying, and I think no one's probably more gutted than me that we've made the decision that we have, because it's kind of my baby, and I love putting it together and watching the enjoyment that everyone gets out of playing squads and being part of their individual teams. But hey, there's nothing to stop you still doing that, and certainly hopefully somewhere down the line we'll be looking to do poker squads as a live event, and be able to kind of meet up with your teammates and play a live game. So who knows when that'll be, but certainly it won't be the end of it. And hopefully, if nothing else, I guarantee, and I know for a fact that the last 40 weeks, 38 that we've played games, that it's brought people together. It's people have made friends, and people that they didn't necessarily even know, and they've joined up in teams, and they now chat to each other regularly and talk poker, and hopefully, and there's no reason why that doesn't continue through the new individual leaderboards, through the Worlds, and through what will be our season 14 schedule later in the year. So it's all good. It's up to the players to keep that going. That's very much the case.
Well said. Well said, Lee. Well said indeed. So we have 9 left. We will soon be at a final table. We're playing hand for hand as we speak. Now, a couple of things for you, Lee. We mentioned briefly on the show last week that let's see if we can put the two of us up there, that the World Series of Poker was playing out. It was ending last Sunday night, and in truth, we didn't know a great deal about it.
Did somebody win?
So man won poker tournament, and I want to show you the key.
Excellent. Yeah.
I want to show you the key finishing moments. So enjoy this with me, if you will.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bit like a bad home game, but anyway, let me play this. That was it, by the way.
Wow, it's packed there, isn't it? Was there any need to cover up the seats as if it's like at an actual football stadium? Surely they rebuilt
stadium size. There we go. Winning hand, bit of sharing there.
Are they allowed to do that? Are they in a bubble together, or?
That's it. That was it. That was the winning hand.
What's his hands up for? Because he's now got to go in anti-back. No.
I don't know, mate. Just ran off round the back. Well, there we go, Lee. I assume those quieter people at the back of the room were the family and friends of his beaten opponent. But that was one Damian Salas from Argentina who scooped that final hand and won the World Series of Poker final event of the year. First event of this year. I'm not quite sure what we call it. Was it the main event? It doesn't feel like the main event.
I don't know. It's great and for him and lovely, but it does feel a little bit kind of empty, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think as a minimum,
actually, when you win that, I mean, great that he's had friends there and they've been able to celebrate and enjoy it, but it does feel a little bit, like it's not kind of anything like the experience that you would want to have when winning that event.
Yeah, as a minimum
as well.
As a minimum, they should have had an audio stream of Brits drinking lager from boots, just rolling there as the final hand played, so that there was something.
Could they not have done it like they do on the football, where you can have it with crowd noise? Could they not have done that?
Possibly, but it just that's the way it was, and it felt very flat. I mean, if that had been your final hand to win the World Series of Poker main event, it felt a little flat.
So
really.
they were playing for $1 million, weren't they? $1 million.
They were playing for $1 million. So Damien had
and
won
they'd already both won
international.
They both already won,
version.
yeah, but they both already won over $1 million, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they both won
I think
lot.
they both. I'm pretty sure that both the first and the second place, at least in the two, whatever you're going to call them, final tables, so to speak. I think they both had guaranteed over $1 million. So it was a kind of a double your money free roll, really. But obviously the title is still an important thing. I mean, it's still you're the one that then gets to call yourself, the World Series of Poker main event champion.
Well, one of two,
apart from the guy in the summer that's got a certificate and a medal and a bracelet.
Frankly,
else. But yeah.
Everybody knows that certificate. It's going to hold a lot of weight. I mean, I'd rather have that on top of my bracelet and my cash. So he's got three things to the other guy's two things.
It's all about having the banner in the Rio. Apparently, that's what it is.
So is this guy Damian Salas is going to get the banner now?
He's going to get the banner, and the other one won't get the banner.
Okay,
apparently.
Well, there we go. It's happened. That's good. Let's put all of our fingers in little cross notations and hope that we see a World Series of Poker of some sort this summer. What do you think, Lee? Are we a week further along? Are we any the wiser as to whether that might happen or not?
Well, I think we can comfortably base that on Rob Young's Twitter poll, and it's a no. Basically, Rob Young's Twitter poll has pretty much said summer is not going to. It's certainly not going to happen with events in the UK, and I would guess if it's not going to happen with events in the UK, because we're miles ahead of the vaccine program compared to the rest of the world, apart from Israel.
Well, actually, it's interesting. Yeah. We are, but we still have problems. So I picked up this little nugget, and this is a little video from today in Brighton. Now, I wasn't in Brighton today, but this video's from Brighton today. Let me just show you this because stuff's going down, Lee. Stuff is going down. Watch this.
You've been filmed today in the town centre and around here and walking up and down the thing. That's not one exercise.
Right, in the town centre? No, that's Tesco's. This is what you wanted to see, so I'm going to tell you what it is. Section 50 form Act 2002, okay? If a constable uniform has reason to believe that a person has been acting or is acting in an antisocial manner, you may require
antisocial manner. Am I acting in an antisocial manner?
Listen to me, that he may require that person give him his name and address, okay? Any person who fails to give his name and address when required to do under subsection gives a false or inaccurate name is guilty of an offence, okay?
Are they acting unsociably? And I was sat on a bench having a cup of coffee.
Listen to me now.
That is not antisocial. Well, because yes, you're provoking me.
Watch this, Lee. It's going to get interesting here in a minute.
Are you going to give us your details or not?
No, I'm not obliged to.
Brighton.
Wow.
What's going on?
Why are you putting your hands behind on her back.
Oh, what are you doing?
I was sitting on a bench.
She's not attacking
I was
you.
sitting on a bench.
What the hell are you doing to this woman?
I was sitting on a
You are
bench.
breaking your own laws, your own
This is
privacy.
disgusting. What are you doing? What's this poor woman doing?
I was sitting on a bench.
Why the hands behind her back?
You've got to choose your side.
Why are her hands behind her back?
Sorry. No, you're not going to arrest me for having a coffin.
Now, listen, at a point, it's going to get political in that video, right? So I'm not going to roll any more of it. But crikey, that's in Brighton. Those are just, a couple of middle-aged women who were sat on benches out in the open. I'm not taking sides, but wow.
But my understanding was that you can exercise as much as you like outside. So ultimately, if you're going for a walk along Brighton seafront and you decide to carry on walking up and down and you're not bothering anybody, then you're entitled to do that. I don't quite see why it needs such a police presence.
Yeah, it's just there were a lot of police
not
people
just
there.
Brighton, but anywher.
Anywhere, yeah. But to see that woman sort of carted off with her arms behind her back, her wrists obviously restrained, stating, "I was just sitting on a park bench." Well, crikey, is all I can say.
Slightly worrying. Yeah.
And we've had a bit of an unsettling week for the odd riot, have we not?
Yes, there was us thinking, oh well, it'll be a quiet start to the year. There won't be much to do, and well, how are you going to cope? There's Trump is no longer on Twitter. That's
I think Trump is the gift that will keep giving, and he's given us in a really bad way, a quite interesting from a distance perspective, 2020, and I think he'll continue to give through 2021, and obviously, there's been a very strong response to all of his supporters storming the Capitol a couple of days ago. And obviously people died, so it isn't a laughing matter. But I picked up another little video, Lee, and I'm going to play this for you because I think this is really interesting. It's maybe a minute and a half long, and the first 30 seconds aren't that interesting, but what this young lad goes on to say I think is really, really interesting. So let me play this.
Can you just start with your first and last name and where you're from?
Yeah, I'm Thomas Barani from New Jersey.
Can you show us your hand?
Yeah.
How did you get that on your hand?
Well, we had stormed into the chambers inside, and there was a young lady who rushed through the windows. A number of police and Secret Service were saying, "Get back, get down, get out of the way." She didn't heed the call, and as we kind of raced up to grab people and pull them back, they shot her in the neck, and she fell back on me and started saying she was fine, it's cool, and then she started kind of like moving weird, and blood was coming out of her mouth and neck and nose, and I don't know if she's alive or dead anymore.
And how did you get back out of the building?
Riot police came in and started ushering us out with their sticks.
Where did you enter the building and where did you exit?
Other side with the scaffolding. We tore through the scaffolding through flashbangs and tear gas, and blitzed our way in through all the chambers, just trying to get into Congress or whoever we could get into and tell them that we need some kind of investigation into this. And what ends up happening is someone might have ended up dead, and that's not the kind of government we can have. People have to do something about it. I can't.
If you need any help at all, EMS is right there.
I'm not injured. It could have been me, but she went in first. It was one of us.
Thank you for telling us your story.
Yeah. Just make sure people know, because this cannot stand anymore. This is wrong. They don't represent anyone. Not Republican, Democrat, Independent, nobody. And now they'll kill people.
Who are you saying will kill people?
I don't, police, congressmen and women, they don't care. I mean, they think we're a joke. $2,000 checks was a joke to them. There's people filming us, laughing at us as we march down the street at the Department of Justice. There's a man in the window laughing at us, filming us. And here it was a joke to them until we got inside, and then all of a sudden guns came out. But I mean, we're at a point now it can't be allowed to stand. We have to do something. People have to do something, because this could be you or your kids.
Thank you, Tom.
There you go, Lee. He started off by saying, as we stormed the Capitol, and he finished the interview by saying he was afraid of being killed by the senators and stuff. It was a bizarre interview, and we've all, I'm sure, heard of the the American lady who was shot and killed in the Capitol. Regrettable, of course, but there seemed to be a real disconnection with what they did and what he thought was going on. Or am I misreading that interview?
Well, no, I think that's his interpretation of what he thought was going on. Obviously, he's bang slap in the middle of it, so that's genuinely what I think he believed. I don't think he's in any way being misleading in his views on it. That's what he genuinely believed happened. Now, whether that's what an outsider would say is what actually happened or what not, it's hard to say. In those type of situations, there's so much going on. It'll take a long time to unravel, and I'm sure they'll look through all of the footage and get witness statements and talk to a lot of people and try and work out what But ultimately, it's a blame game, isn't it? That's what it turns into.
But it's a bit delusional to think that the government are out to kill you. They're out to kill people. I mean, that's paranoia, right? And 75 million people voted for Trump, and I'm sure many of those people are quite sane and what have you, and they voted for lots of good reasons. Trump had some, admirable results business-wise and market-wise prior to COVID hitting and stuff like that. He didn't do well in other areas, but he did well in some areas. So, there might have been plenty of good reasons for voting for him. But there's a lot of people who I think have taken the whole story about fixing elections and, all of that sort of paranoid stuff and are running with it. It's now very much in their mindset. I think it could be a really testing next 12 months for America. Hell, it might be a really testing next week for America.
Very much so. Did you see the Schwarzenegger video that came out today?
No, I didn't. I saw that something had arrived, but I didn't click on it. What had he to say?
I'd sit and watch 7.5 minutes of Arnie talking politics, but
I'll be back.
It's very good, very, very good, from the heart. And basically, it doesn't really matter which side you necessarily believe in. His concern was for America as a whole. So
Trump has been
interesting on some of the stuff there. Just looking at the chat. Don said, was that Brighton thing? Was it fake news in Bournemouth?
Was that
protest was taking place? Was that not the one that was staged? This is the problem now. It's hard to know what to necessarily believe as to what's genuine and what's not. I was chatting, funny enough, before we came on the show with a friend of mine who's a paramedic, and he was saying that the footage and the content that's out there at the moment in the UK regarding COVID and empty hospitals and all of this kind of content that's being put out there. He said it's scary how they can easily take some footage and twist it and before you know it, you're kind of you're getting the impression that there's just empty hospitals and there's no pandemic at all.
Fake news. We are in a very, very strange time, it has to be said. Now, talking of fake news, Twitter, amongst others, have removed one Mr. Donald Trump from their platform, and his 88.7 million followers, of which I'm one, may well be wondering what's going to happen next. I can't imagine the angst of the president having lost his Twitter account. I mean, that must have been a sight to see. I mean, that's worthy of the £250 fee that Jeremy Beadle would have given you once upon a time if you'd had your hands on that video.
I don't think it's good though.
Well, what do you think's going to happen? You think he's going to go underground or another platform without control?
I genuinely don't. I think when you get to a situation where a public platform is banning accounts like that, and then others follow suit, and it's somebody that has got that number of followers and that amount of sway with people, I think there's got to be a better way of dealing with the situation, because ultimately, you could end up with a two Twitters. I mean, you could end up with so it starts up another platform, where he has got free reign to pretty much say what he wants to say, and all of his followers join that, and more join that, and then you basically get the two sides of the argument shouting their argument on two separate platforms, and you don't have discussion, you don't have debate. And I think the minute you don't have discussion, you don't have debate, is when you really have problems in the world and in society.
I think theoretically what you're saying is absolutely true. Of course, the reality of Trump's account on Twitter was that he just shouted everybody down. There was no checks and balances with that. He would say whatever he wanted to say. I mean, let's face it. He spent the last 6 to 8 weeks being, sort of marked as, fraudulent content and what have you. But at least you're right. It's in the mainstream, so you're seeing it. At least we have some awareness.
I mean, I always say to people when they've got strong views, whether it be something, something perhaps political in this country, or even it's just a view on, I don't know, Brexit or referendums or pandemic or whatever it might be. If you only ever read and listen and engage with media that agrees with your viewpoint, you're basically, you're talking to you're preaching to the converted. It's not ever going to help the process, because that's all you're doing. You've actually got to listen to other people's side of it, and you may not agree with it, but if you're able to engage with it and have discussion.
Oh, you've gone very tinny, Lee. Very tinny.
Not everybody's happy with the situation, really.
Yeah, you went a bit tinny there. Don't worry, we'll go back to the poker and mo. I guess the last point on Trump is that there's every chance he's going to end up with more drama in the week ahead. So there's talk of impeachment. There's talk about the 25th Amendment, and there's talk of just get him out before his term ends, which would have multiple impacts on Trump as far as, any pension he might get from the job, the security around him, stuff like that. But I think we're going to hear a lot about this next week, right? There's going to be a big push to remove him.
Yeah, just reading now, Warren Brooks is saying that's already happening. There's an app called Parler that says it's a free speech app that Google Play suspended from the Play Store this week for not removing content that incites violence. This is the problem. It's not a perfect world, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. But we have got some poker going on as well tonight. We're on the final table of the Sunday roll, and we've just lost our first player, Des, unfortunately, and it's Triplin.
No,
he's bust in 8th place, picking up $91 for his trouble tonight, though. So very well done to you, Tristan. Also in the as well, so well done to you guys. But we've got 7 players remaining. Chip leaders currently Yusuf, Segurli, Stefan Bratanov's there as well. From Canada, we've got Raymond Chan. From Austria, David Schuster. Christian Hitchin as well as there. Harvey McGiven and Mr. Rudling Smith. Rudders is on that final table as well.
Excellent. The guys just back from break. So do you have a pick here, Lee? I'm trying to think. Have you won a last longer pick on Poker Squads?
Probably not, to be honest.
This might be your night.
This is quite interesting, because other than probably Harvey and Richard, the others have all got kind of reasonably
pretty tightly bunched, aren't they?
Blinds of 15,000, 30,000. So actually it's quite shallow here. So we've got it all in with Queens versus Jacks pre here. Richard against Harvey. Richard's going to need to hit a Jack. And it's not going to come. So we're going to lose Rudders in 7th place.
Unlucky Rudders.
Up $110 though. Very nice.
So
top prize tonight, $690 up top, Des, for first prize tonight.
Thank you very much. I'd like that. I would like that very much. Listen, Mr. Brendan Byrne, who I have to say is not a stranger to a final table on a Sunday night, has asked the question, have I missed an announcement about the International Team Championship? Now, we didn't discuss that specifically in our WCOAP section at the top of the video, but what can we say about that right now, Lee?
So this is this is a situation. We wanted to run a team championship because it wouldn't be a Worlds without one. So it's the right thing to do. We are limited to 10 countries that we can get into this, just simply from an online logistics point of view of setting up tournaments and making it all work. So we're going to go with 10. I've spoken to, I think, nearly all of the captains that were lined up for the live event. And had conversations with them. Some of those aren't able to play on party poker because they're in jurisdictions that can't play on party. So that's okay. But all the captains have been told that they can their captaincy for when we can get back live is still valid, and up to them what they want to do. A few of them have said they're quite happy for somebody else to have a go at captaining the team and putting a team forward for the online version. A few of the others said they'd like to do it themselves. So that's all kind of in the pipeline, and we'll hopefully get that in the next couple of days. The structure for what the team event is going to be, it's going to be across the first Saturday and Sunday of the festival, which is the 23rd and 24th of January. It's going to consist of 6 phases of sit and goes. 3 on the Saturday, 3 on the Sunday. Each phase will have 2 no limit hold'ems, an Omaha and an Omaha high-low sit and go, and captains will select who they want to play those in advance. And basically they will then play the sit and goes as we normally would do in a live event with points added. So we'll run that across the 2 days. We'll have a live APAT show on those 2 nights as well to keep people up to date with leaderboards and what's going on. So it'll be a lot of fun. I think it'll be really, really good. So we'll be able to flick between the sit and goes and whatnot. So yeah. So from your point of view, Brendan, if you need to have a chat to Mr. Bailey. So that's who you'll need to speak to, but that's the plan. We're just getting it finalized and getting out the next couple of days, and looking to try and just get it as widespread as we can team wise. A few other people have contacted me saying they would be interested in trying to get a team in. I think the reality is I'm probably already got more than we can actually fit in at the moment, so we will end up having to disappoint 1 or 2 teams, I think, but that's unfortunately the way it's going to be this year. But we wanted to get a team event in. It's the right thing to do, so there'll be bracelets up for grabs on that as well. And we know it's not about the prize pool with a team event, Des, is it? It's very much about the bragging rights of
absolutely
winning, and hopefully the Dutch guys are going to be able to get a team in to represent, having won it in Vienna in 2019. So
no, it wouldn't feel like a WCOAP without the team event, Lee. So I think we'll keep it smaller than we might otherwise have done at a live venue. Certainly for this year, the first time we've ever ran this particular event online. But it wouldn't feel like a WCOAP without that particular event. So I think it's a great start, first weekend to find out which country is going to nab the international team championship.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to us being able to do a live show with it, because hopefully we'll have a live leaderboard up, so basically you can be, if you're playing in it or you're following any of the tables, because they'll all be visible in the lobby for you to load them up and follow them as well if you want. But we'll have a live table up on screen here, which means as I'm typing in, an exit, it'll update that. We're going to try and see if we can get some of the captains in on calls and have a chat to them about how they're doing or what their tactics are as the phases go through. So it should be a really interesting Saturday and Sunday night, and a nice way to start the festival off. And then obviously our first event final table will be then on the Monday night. After event number 2, which is on the Sunday evening, starts its day 1. So it's going to be very, very exciting.
Fantastic. Sounds like a plan. So any other questions on WCOAP, do get them in, guys. We will have the bespoke bracelet for the main event winner. So we'll repeat that as we have done in previous years. We will have the silver bracelets for the other winners in the main series. We are seeing quite a hand here. I think Harvey took that down, did he not, with a pair of kings?
Yeah, Harvey took it down with the kings. Christian had made top pair, second pair with Queen Jack, I think it was, out of the small blind. So Harvey had raised it under the gun. So so it says the usual. We've got the bracelets for all of the events. There's no bracelets for the mini series, but there will be points for player of the series for the for the mini as well. So if you they run at the same time as the main series each night, but they're a tenth of the buy-in. So when a main series is $55 buy-in, the mini is just $5.50, and you get the same structure tournament with guarantees as well. So there's some lovely guarantees just in the mini series. So if for whatever reason, some of the larger ones are out of your buy-in, or you're not lucky enough to get through a satellite, then you can jump into a mini the same evening for $5.50 and get with a decent guarantee as well. So we'll put the player of the series details out in the next couple of days as well. But we've got a little formula to keep those. It'll be points earned for anyone that cashes, and it's impacted by number of runners and your finishing position. And we'll be running a leaderboard for that throughout. We will actually break down the mini and the main leaderboards, but ultimately it'll be the total score that will count. And currently up top in the leaderboard is a $5,000 entry into the online millions in February, which is pretty awesome, Des, isn't it?
Yeah, because I mean the prize money available in that particular event is enormous. So get into any cash position there, and you will do very, very well from that seat. And of course, without doubt, we will follow whoever wins that prize through that millions online event as well.
Yeah, and a couple of other things just to mention, only because they were questions that I was asked today. The team event is not part of the player of the series, so anybody that's playing in that doesn't need to worry about that. Or if you don't get to play in that, it makes no difference to the player of the series score. Before, obviously, when we used to play a live, or we will go back to playing live when we had our live worlds. Previously, obviously, it was a little bit of a bugbear of the guys in the team events, because they'd have to miss out on some of the other events whilst they were playing the team events, because they would collide. So obviously, one of the benefits of playing online is you don't have that as a high roller and a super high roller. Obviously, Des is fully bankrolled for the super high roller.
I'm not even sure I'd drop $530 for the super high roller. I mean, there's $100,000 guaranteed in the tournament, so it's a fantastic prize pool. But that's a pretty serious buy-in.
But I would like to just briefly talk about those. Firstly, to end what I was going to say, which is that the points for those will work exactly the same as the $55 and the main. So there's no significant benefit that if you're bankrolled or can afford to play those high rollers, and you won't pick up necessarily any more points than you would from winning one of the other sides. So that's the first thing to state. And secondly, it's a point which we've a lot of you may well know that Rob Young has been very much championing amateur players in recent times, and very much we're very grateful to all Rob's support and the team at Party for helping us get all this together. And one of the things that stuck with us that Rob said is just because you're an amateur poker player doesn't mean you're cheap or it's cheap buy-ins. So there are amateur poker players out there that can play bigger buy-ins, and he's quite right when he says that. And Rob would describe himself as an amateur poker player, whether because he owns a poker club and and whatnot, that counts. But he is, he says he's an amateur poker player. So having the high roller and the super high roller, yes, it might not suit everybody, and it might not be that everyone's bankroll, but you could still have a go at trying to satellite in for them if you wanted to.
That's it.
Nothing wrong with you having a go at that. But ultimately, if you're not bankrolled for that high roller and that super high roller, and you can't get in through a satellite, don't worry about it. It just doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's not likely to affect you trying to go for player of the series, because that's across 15 events. So in the reality of it, it really isn't a big deal. There'll be some nights of the week where somebody can't play because they've got a commitment, they've got something else on, or whatever, or they've just they're working late, or they're doing whatever, so they can't play an event. People are not going to be able to play different events for different reasons. So that high roller and the super high roller are in there because they're great prize pools and they're an opportunity for people to play at those levels. And you genuinely don't need to worry about it. just play within your means and what you can try and satellite in for, and that's you'll have a great 2 weeks doing that.
That's right. So Brendan, I hope that fully answers your question. Have you read the chat box, Lee? Brendan came back in and says, I picked a bad time to make the tea, obviously. So there you go, Brendan. That is the fullest answer we've ever had on the APAT show. I hope you benefited from that.
Yeah. I really hope you appreciated the charts and graphs that we just showed. We just showed you for that. Des was a little bit slow on moving between the slides, but he has been spending most of his time working at Downing Street for the last 9 months, so he's not quite got the hang of it yet.
Detail.
Basically, Brendan.
No! Don't say it again.
All I was going to say, Brendan, if you're back from making the tea, talk to Frank.
Yeah. Talk to Frank. Just rewatch the video. Go forward to approximately 55 minutes in the video and watch from there.
Yeah, you'll be fine. It won't be a problem whatsoever. Yeah, it's all good. So we're down to five in the Sunday roller. So these guys now are all guaranteed $182. We lost Raymond Chan a little while ago. Harvey McGiven got his double up through Christian, or not quite a full double up, but he certainly got a decent pay on that. So it means David Schuster from Austria is our short stack at the moment at this table. But so Pete says the mini games are sensible. Yeah, well they're I'd say if you look at the mini game schedule, I think for the Worlds there's some lovely guarantees in there. There really is. I mean, the main event itself.
20,000,
which is an $11 guarantee, is 20,000 guarantees. So it needs 2,000 runners to make that. I mean, that's a fantastic guarantee for an $11 buy-in. And again, it's a 2-day structure, saying you're getting the same chip stack and I think it's a 14-minute clock for that.
Yeah, it's great.
Main event.
Great structure.
I mean, it's just fantastic. So, as David shoves all in with 9-7, gets called by Harvey's jacks, and he's not going to get any help there, unfortunately, on that board. So we're going to leave David in 5th place, and Harvey now, pretty much that's just what Harvey needed, actually, going against the short stack there, just to get enough in play now. So with 4 players left.
I think, Lee, one sort of additional point on WCOAP pricing and buy-in levels and stuff like that. I think it would have been hard for us to have put bracelet events on, at a price less than we were originally sort of, seeing the buy-in for the roller. It was originally at 55. Of course, we brought that down a little bit to 33, but it needed to be at a slightly premium price point to be awarding WCOAP bracelets.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's finding that right balance, isn't it? And we fully appreciate, and we still do now. When we all went into lockdown last March, Des and I had a long chat about what we should be doing, and we wanted to keep things as low and as friendly for people to play. And then gradually, as kind of we've gone through the year, it's become a little bit apparent that we need to, maybe make some of the prize pools a little bit more interesting for players to want to play, but still keeping the buy-ins at a sensible rate. So we've always looked to structure. I feel $55 is about right. Good. And we didn't want to make the main, a crazy figure either. So 109 is affordable for some who will just want to buy into that, or some might just go and play tournament dollar satellites to get into that, or or they can satellite in for $11 through the satellite trees that are there. So there's lots of ways as to what they needed to do. So Brendan's asked, is it real names for the Worlds? Yes, it will be. Everything will be real names for the Worlds. And in answer to your question, Danny, yes, we know. We know tonight's satellites ran with screen names instead of real names. We've already spoken to the guys at Party to say that had happened, and they were surprised as well because they thought it had been set up as real names. So that will get fixed. So when you're playing the daily satellites, that'll get changed. So what we've got at the moment is generic daily satellites in play, so you can play for the main event, so the $109 buy-in, or you can pick up a $55 ticket, and pretty much which will get you into any of the sides. As anyone that's played any regular festivals on Party Poker will know, as you get up to each event in the days building up to that, you'll start seeing specific satellites which will automatically buy you into an event. So keep an eye out for those. And I make it very, very clear that it is, if you can only, there's only one bullet. So once you've satellited in, you're done with that. And it's not a case of, oh, well, I didn't, I've unregistered and I want to use it for something else. It's not going to work. So you need to be, decide what you want to play, satellite in when you need to. So the generic ones are super flexible, so you can get into anything. So you've got plenty of opportunities. And and as always was the way, there will be probably a little bit of value here and there to be had. And keep an eye on all the social media channels as well, because as is normally the way, Party Poker will always kind of do little giveaway things of tickets and as well in the next couple of weeks. So that'll all be sorted. Will the mini points be combined with the main points to give you a total? Yeah, that's right. So basically the mini points will be a 10th of the mains, apart from I think the two high rollers in the mini series, which will slightly change. So I'll put those in. So basically there'll be a calculation which will have a multiplier on it depending on the event you're playing. So for the main series, the multiplier will be times 10. For the mini series, it'll be times 1. And then for there's a couple in between where it's like a times 4 or a times 5, just to keep the balance. But the two high rollers in the main, so the 220 and the 530, it's capped at $55. So it'll be, that's the maximum the multiplier would be. So they'll be exactly the same. So hope that answers your question, Danny, and I hope you did all right in the satellite tonight. I have not looked to see who actually who picked up tickets or whether they're still running or not, Des. I'll see if I can have a look as we're down to 3 players now. We lost Yusuf, who was actually chip leader for a reasonable chunk of time as we were coming into this final table. He's departed in 4th place for $234. But I missed the exit, so I was busy explaining Danny's question. So the satellites for the super high roller and the high roller, well, they normally work at about 10% working up. So I would imagine that they'll stick with the same. Although sometimes they, with the generic stuff, they make it more kind of a 1 in 6, 1 in 7 in the kind of day or the day of the tournament. But there will be a specific tree for that. But you will be able to go from quite low down and work your way up. So pretty much all of the events you can satellite in from $5.50 pretty much with all of them. So you'll be able to work your way through if you need to, and you've got a good few weeks to get that done. So
I tell you quietly though, Lee, it's coming along quickly, isn't it? I mean, the 23rd of Jan will be here before we know it.
2 weeks tonight, Des. We will be talking now about
first bracelets,
about the team event.
Yeah,
very much.
We will
so.
Indeed.
It's exciting. I mean, but the whole thing brings slightly different, a different aspect to it. I mean, so I'll tell you, right. So what's one of the things that I'm really, really looking forward to, right, in this is, whoever wins the main event, they're going to get their bracelet through in the post. And hopefully they'll do a little unboxing video for us.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Of them getting their their main event bracelet through when they do, and the same for all of the other events, to be honest. And for some people, some of our players that have played Worlds over the years, they know what the bracelets look like, and they know. But for anyone that's not seen a World Championship Amateur Poker bracelet and might be thinking, well, what is it? It's not going to be any. Yeah, they're quite impressive, actually, aren't they?
Very impressive. Very impressive.
And they come in a nice presentation box with all the event details marked up on it and everything like that. So for those that are going to get those in the post and have not seen them before, I think it's quite exciting. I really do. And we know that our players all love the medals as well, and the bracelets, and it's an important part of the World Championship. So it's going to be interesting because it's just going to be a different dynamic. There we go. There's the main event bracelet for this year.
Very nice.
With
I'll tell you what
a sky diamond in the middle. No, it's not a sky diamond, but it is a stone in the center.
Is that the last of the tanzanite that QVC are continually talking about? That's it. Once that's gone, we'll be able to get the kids back to school. I think that's what they're saying.
Yeah. Did you look up Sky? Have you looked up Sky Diamonds yet? You haven't.
I haven't. No, I haven't.
Oh.
But if I had money, Lee, that's where I'd sink it. Did I say sink it? That's where I'd levitate it.
So Des, Robbie, and myself had a call earlier on in the week because we were discussing the next episode of The Orbit. Well, the first one of season 2. It'll be in 2021, and I don't know how the conversation got on to Sky Diamonds, but anyway, I mentioned Sky Diamonds. So if you haven't seen them, have a look. It's a genuine thing that's being created by the guy that created Ecotricity, which is an environmentally friendly UK energy company. But yes, it's basically taking carbon dioxide from the sky and creating diamonds with them, genuine, real diamonds, and it's an eco-friendly jewelry thing. So if you check it out, it's they're currently in the process of launching, and it is a real thing. So
love it. You mentioned Robbie, you mentioned the orbit. Let me do this, if I can do this very, very quickly.
Hi, this is Norman Chad, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, this is Christine Bicknell, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, this is Daniel Negreanu, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hey, this is David Tuckman, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, I'm Matt Burke, and you're watching The Orbit.
Yo, Phil Hellmuth here, and you are watching The Orbit.
Hi, this is Alex Scott, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, it's Maria Ho, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, this is Eli Elezra, and you are watching The Orbits.
Hi, this is Donnie Peters, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, it's Adam Pliska of the World Poker Tour, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, this is Jeff Platt, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, I'm Nick Jones, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hello, Matt Savage here, and you are watching The Orbit.
Hi, this is Will Shillaber, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, I'm Chris Wallace, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, I'm Eric Denis, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, this is Patrick Leonard, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, I'm the Barry Carter, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, I'm David Lappin, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, this is Toby Bentel from Poker News, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, this is Phil Galfond, and you're watching The Orbit.
Hi, this is Phil Galfond, and you're watching The Orbit.
That's a good one.
Hi, this is Phil Galfond, and you're watching the APAT show. What a year, Lee. What a year.
Rob was absolutely super. As absolute deadpan. No one knew he was going to say that and say Daniel Negreanu just fell about laughing. It was very, very, very funny episode.
We have to get some of these people on the APAT show, right?
I do love watching that little video, and I'm so glad that we got them all to kind of do that and be able to put that together because, this time last year, that wasn't even a thing. It was not really. It was nothing. And the people we've got to talk to and allow them to talk and for people to watch on the Orbit in the past 12 months has been incredible.
It wouldn't have happened. That show would not have existed had we not started the APAT show.
Oh, completely.
It just wouldn't.
No.
It just wouldn't have even been a brainchild anywhere.
But explain that because people might not understand the reason why that is, Des. So it's worth explaining why that is.
Well, I'm not sure that I can. I mean, obviously, in starting the APAT show, Lee and I got a certain amount of experience in terms of the tech and the techniques and, all of that good stuff. And we had Robbie Straczynski on one night early in the run of Series 1. It was probably at some point in March, maybe episode 3 or 4. Robbie's a sort of a media guy, has a great blog, Card Player Lifestyle, and he goes to the World Series of Poker every year, and he updates bios for the Poker Go team and all of that sort of stuff. So really well connected, but Robbie's a bit of a tech phobe, so he knew that he wanted to make inroads into poker video, very, very strong in the written poker content side of things, but he didn't have the tech skills, and he tried, he just couldn't figure it out. So he put a bit of a cry for help onto Facebook one night. And I responded back to him and I said, look, Robbie, let's have a chat. We might be able to help you out with this. And, one discussion led to another, brought Lee in, led to another. And, before you knew it, it really didn't take long, Lee. We had the first episode sort of out, had a really tremendous reception from the industry. And I think it's just gone from strength to strength. So it's one of those little projects, and it still feels like a little project. We don't dedicate a huge amount of time to it. But Robbie's very good as a front man, and I think we've managed to create a really nice product, and it'll be really interesting to see where it goes this year, Lee.
Oh, we've got a wish list, haven't we, of guests we'd like to get on, but we're currently in the process of putting together the lineup for the first episode, which is it's quite a serious episode actually. I'm really looking forward to doing it, and I think a lot of people will get a lot of benefit out of the first episode of season.
Are we going to be talking about Tony Trippier's religious choices?
Very much.
I hope so. That was my favorite. That was my favorite APAT show of 2020. The night we had Tony Trippier on. If you haven't seen it, go back and find it. It's in the. It'll be in the library on the APAT show section on the APAT website. You'll find it fairly easily there. We've had some fun with this, haven't we, Lee? This streaming business. But anyway, let's get the poker back up, because we are getting to the business end of things now. We are left with 3.
So I'm having I'm having tonight, one of these nights where everybody seems to want to have messages via other devices whilst we're on the show, which is not a bad thing, because to be honest, I'm just as quite easy to grab my phone and do it that way. So, and also trying to keep up to date with the poker squads, because we are down to 11 players in that now, and we've not really talked about who can do what, where, or how, and I'm trying to get the exits in. Normally we've got guests, you see, Des, and they do this chatting thing, and it makes life so much easier.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We felt tonight was a bit of a heavy episode to have a guest on in the middle of it all.
We felt it would be unfair to whoever we got on the show. Before anyone thinks that, Des and I have decided it was just going to be me and him every Sunday night. It literally was, the discussion tonight was, we thought, well, we're going to be talking about a lot of, schedules, announcing, answering questions. And we thought it would be really unfair whoever we got on as a guest, because it would be, there's a lot of distracting stuff that will be going on, and we wouldn't necessarily be able to properly, have a chat to them and give them, the fair crack of the whip that we would want. So that's why we've decided to go down this route. But we are 3-handed in the roller now. As I said, Yusuf's gone. So these guys are all guaranteed $338, $481 for second, and $690 up top. And we're down to 11 in the squad. So I'm just going to do a quick catch up on the
that would
exits.
Be pretty cool.
So I'm not far away. I'm only about 5 off, and I'll be there. And then I'll have a look and see whether anyone is in the running, or whether it's going to be Purple Ackies that are going to hold on to top spot.
Fantastic.
But just be aware, guys, that whatever added value is for squads this week, I will switch it up to Worlds tickets. So you'll have to just bear with me during the week, because I'll get that sorted. Because obviously we want to get as many of you guys in to play those as we possibly can.
I took down the
go for the medals.
I took down the Join Poker Squads page this evening, Lee. I'm sad to see that go.
Yes, but it'll we'll always replace with something else. We're always looking to to develop things and move things on, and we'll find a new. I say, I'm quite looking forward to the new individual leaderboards, because ultimately, yes, we've had the squads leaderboards for all these weeks, but the MVP one, though, Des, has been just as exciting, and we've had players competing for that and wanting to be MVP for the week. And actually, if anything, it's probably had a greater mix of individuals winning that over the last 38 weeks. There's very, very few people that have been MVP more than twice.
Well,
in that.
I think, Lee, we should leave the rankings exactly as they are. Okay, really? I'm quite happy with how the rankings currently line up on the APAT website. Apparently, I'm in first, just ahead of you.
I think I'm top Welsh player, though, aren't I? So that's
you are definitely the top Welsh. But we could leave it like this through the year. Will I get a seat into something?
Oh yeah, that's you. I mean, you good as won the $5,000 seat. Do you want to just secure that now?
Oh,
I wonder whether you could exchange that for for those rear carpets for your Ferrari that you wanted. Yeah, is that possible?
Let's do it. Let's do it, Lee. That's what I want. I want carpets for my Ferrari. Now let's see if I can find the deep stack. So while you're doing some of your numbers, I will.
Yeah, so it's three. So we're 300 in the squads. All got a reasonably even stack. There we go. Let's see where we're at with the Right then. So yeah, so looking at squads, Purple Ackies are all done for the night. They're top of the table at the moment. They're all bust. Andy Kinger managed to add some points to his score with tonight's deep stack game.
Yeah.
Wildcards currently in second. They're all completed as well. Four Nations in third, but I don't think they had one player left to play, and that would have been Nelly. But I don't think she's playing tonight. So that's going to be done. The Lockdown Crew in fourth. They're all done for the night. Austrian Takeover have got one player who's not playing, but that's Wolfgang, but he's not playing tonight. Eat My Stack are all done. So it looks like the only team that potentially could catch Purple Ackies would be it could be the Penguins. It could be Los Cuatros Pingüinos. Monica and the team. They've got Johan still playing. He's 7th of 10 players.
Okay.
And they are currently, let's see, 169 points. So 159 points. So 169 points off, and there's 190 up for grabs. So it's close. I'll just have to work it out to get it spot on. But they potentially, certainly, if he won it, they'd at least finish second. But they could potentially take first place as well if he won the event. He's currently 7th of 10. But other than that, if it's not them, then it's going to be Purple Ackies that are going to take down the final squads of game week 38.
So sorry, Liverpool, you mean?
Liverpool, effectively, yeah. Well, it can't be. It's got Dan Houston in it, so it
he's Liverpool. Same thing. Yeah. Wales.
So as far as MVP goes, Dan is still at the top. But it wouldn't be a Sunday night, Des, if I didn't say but. That means that he can be caught. And it would need to be a win for Igor, who's currently 9th of 10 players. Win for Igor would actually get him top of the MVP, and Johan as well. If he won, he would also go ahead of Dan. Just seeing if anybody else can do that as well. No, I think they're the only two that can actually overtake Dan. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how that plays out.
Interesting. I think it's only fitting that we have a tight finish, Lee, to Poker Squads, and you're getting some love in the chat box. Mr. Murray
Really?
says, well, love might be too strong a word, perhaps, but Mr. Murray says Mr. John Murray, one of the most decorated players in APAT history, joins us tonight. Hi, John. I hope Lee is going to twist his celebrity friends' nose to make them all enter teams in the APAT WSOP Fantasy League. I like what he's doing there. He's looking for some intel. And Tomo, right? Tomo is in the chat box. I see Lee and Matt, that would be Mr. Matt Dale, I'm sure, have the same barber.
I thought Matt had a proper severe haircut.
He has done. But
Yeah.
I see why Tomo said that.
Yeah.
Matt was floppy. Can we say floppy? Little floppy.
You can call Matt floppy if you want to call Matt floppy. You carry on. I mean, it's just it's more appropriate to sort of the name you'd call a pet rabbit, I think. But you carry on.
We can call you Bunny if you'd prefer. Trish
fine,
Chaplin,
yeah.
Trish Triplin, right? is responding to Aniran. Aniran said he was sat back on his couch looking at his bracelet and 3 medals, as you do on a Sunday night, and I'm all for it. Honestly, and Tristan has responded by saying, doing the same, mate. Looking at my bracelet and 3 medals on top of my wardrobe. Trouble is, my 5 other medals are in the way at the moment. Oh, that was thin and it was fat at the same time. It was a really ugly reproach.
Talk. Yeah, absolutely.
That was fighting talk. Very well done, sir. Very well. Yeah. Because for a brief moment at the top of Tristan's statement, I was wondering, maybe they're sat on the same couch.
Well,
and wouldn't that be a beautiful thing?
Well, if that's the social bubble they've gone for, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely right.
At all. No, completely agree with it. It's I keep looking at this this bottom banner that just says 750,000 WCOP announced. It's like, you do sometimes have to pinch yourself, don't you, with these things, and just go.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. We shouldn't be afraid of it as a membership. We should just basically go head on.
Players that have
for
played
it.
with APAT for a long time is very much
just
embrace
go
it.
for it. It's an opportunity.
It's a massive opportunity to play, and it will bring some new players in. It'll bring some new players into APAT. That's not a bad thing at all. It's all about amateur players, and if we can put these kind of guarantees in for amateur players, where you're not getting the pros that are that are playing day in day out, looking for the value and looking, you're going to be up against good amateur players that want to play the game properly, and play for some decent prize pools. Then that's an awesome thing, in my view.
Looking forward to seeing that playing out. And as I've said before, Lee, I just think a lot of the guys that we're seeing, and girls indeed, over the last 6, 7, 8 months, I think a lot of them are like machines now in terms of taking on highly competitive fields and getting the job done regularly. So it wouldn't surprise me to see several of our members, faces that we're used to seeing on a Sunday night, going deep into some of these big prize pools in 2 weeks' time. Wouldn't surprise me.
What I would say, guys, and serious point here, if you're looking for a bracelet and where you might think, well, I might get an easy shot at this. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy shot, but but some of the bracelets that are, that we've got going here, we have got stud championship.
Now, in fairness, you say easily, but that's going to be the biggest stud game possibly ever held on Party Poker.
I was going to say but you've got a stud game, so you might be kind of going, well, I don't play stud, or I don't really know. But don't forget that every Thursday night at 7 p.m. is the weekly APAT stud game, which it's $11 to buy into that and play that, or even just open the table up and watch. If you're trying to get an understanding of what's going on and see whether it's something that would be, that would interest you to want to play. So, we've got that running. If you're thinking, well, my heads up game maybe is not as good as it could be. Well, every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock is the weekly heads up game. We've been running that for months and months and months. $11. So, give it a go. Hey, you might play that, do really well in that, and win enough to go and have a go at the world's heads up game at $55 by playing that one. There's so many different ways you could get your buy-ins and satellites and try and get your bankroll in to play some of these things. But we do everything that we've got playing in the world. We've been running week in, week out for months and months and months now, so you can play this. If you don't play Omaha, well, we've got we have the squads. Well, what will change from the squads game to an ordinary game, but it's still a $5.50 buy-in, which is a good quality, great structure. There's an $11 Omaha game as well. We've got exactly the same for Omaha high-low. So if you don't play some of these games, or you're not as experienced at them, and you're not quite sure, well, in the next couple of weeks, try some of the stuff at the lower buy-ins and see whether it's something that you enjoy. The mix max on a Thursday night with the 551 again, that goes it goes 8-handed, then 6-handed, then 4-handed. If you've not experienced that and you want to try playing that, well, again, you can get in for $5.50 and try it and see whether it's something that you then would want to try and play at the Worlds. If if you can then satellite in or just buy in, up to you entirely. But we're running all of these, and so I think you're right, Des, in that a lot of the players that have been playing, week in, week out with us, or as and when they can during lockdown, are going to be in a really good place for giving a number of these championship events a really good go, and hopefully taking home some of the bling.
Absolutely. That sounds like fun. Let's do it. But stick within your bankroll, guys. That's the main thing. Use the sats where you can.
Yeah, massively important. We can't stress that enough. And we know that lots of players, as we've got an all in the call here, Stefan's all in with Queen 7, and
there's that 6
of Christian, and he's hit flops the Queen, and then the 6 comes on the turn, and that's a double up for Christian with the 6s. Yeah, Danny, you're right. So that's the only thing about the stud is it's only available on the Windows download app. Straight next hand, Harvey's ace-9 is all in against the kings of Stefan, and we lose Harvey in third place for $338. All in pre, and the kings hold this time. So well done to Harvey, though. It's a good run. Yeah, Danny, they're not. They're talking about it's being in development, but it's not going to be anytime soon, unfortunately. So it is a case of, if you want to play that stud game, you do need to have a Windows laptop and be able to download the client on that to play that particular one. Unfortunately, but it's well worth it though. I've watched quite a lot of the stud games over the past few months, and it's quite interesting. You think it's always going to be quite a boring game, but actually it isn't at all. The pots can get quite lively.
I'm really glad to see the stud game in there, and of course we've got Omaha as well. But that's our big miss from a format point of view in this WCOAP. I mean, there's lots of different disciplines on offer, but we're not offering the Irish and the Chinese and sort of all of the various games that we would typically offer at a WCOAP, unfortunately. But touch wood, and I'm touching my head now. Touch wood, we'll put that right at the next WCOAP.
Yeah, we're only limited by the games that we can play online with Party. And to be fair, we've got pretty much everything in there that is available. So we've also got the bounty games in there as well, in a number of different variants. So we've got an Omaha and a PLO8 bounty game as well. So they'll be quite interesting, I think, to see how those play out. Because obviously you're building your bounty as well, but then going for the top prize. So it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a slightly different dynamic in those.
Indeed,
it will be fascinating to see. And I also think it'll be interesting to see how many players that maybe are newer to APAT adapt to maybe not even realizing, but I'm sure they will that they are all freeze outs. There is no re-entry in it. So that does slightly change the way some players will play.
This is the point that I keep making. If you have done nothing other from a poker point of view than play squads or the roller over the last 38 weeks, these are tough, short field, freeze out games. Can't afford to make too many mistakes. I just think it sets you up very well versus the general standard of competition on party poker that'll be entering this level of event. So I'm hoping for some big scores. I really am.
Yeah, no, I think it'll be super exciting, and I'm really looking forward to the APAT show every night in some form or another, whether it be cards up or just us following along as we do now, and getting some other people and getting some of the community involved as we go. And just watching this heads up, Stefan's all in. King 4 versus Queen 9 for Christian.
Queen on the end.
And Queen on the end gets him a double up. Wow. It's got quite aggro, this heads up. It's just been chips going in pre. But Stefan's just limped this next one, and straight away Christian just shoves. Difficult for Stefan to make the call. So these guys now guaranteed $480 for second place, and it's $690 up top. Yeah, shame on the short deck. Well, they do have short deck. I think they have short deck cash games, if I remember rightly, but not yet in tournament form. So as that would have been a nice addition into the schedule. But I think it's not whether we like it or not, or whatever, however, that's the wrong term to use. But I think what we're going to put on in the next couple of weeks just shows what is capable of being put on for amateur players, on an online platform, and certainly we will get back to playing live events. I've no doubt about that. But I think, or I would hope certainly, that this style of online festival for amateur players will be here to stay. I really believe that will be the case.
So guys, if you're, I was going to say, Lee, if any of the guys are joining us late and are still struggling for information on the WCOAP, there is a pretty chunky sort of post on the APAT website, apat.com. Do go through there and read it. A lot of the detail is there. Also, don't forget to sign up to apat.com. As Lee said earlier on in the video, you'll need to do that to be receiving things like bracelets and medals and ranking points and stuff like that. So do refresh our database and sign up, please. Lee, we've lost a couple of people next door in the deep stack. Have we lost our two?
Yeah, we have. We're down to a final table, and we've lost our two that were in with a mix. So I'm just literally just refreshing
doing the maths.
The spreadsheet now, doing the maths. This spreadsheet's got pretty big over 38 weeks.
I bet it has. I bet it has.
If it wasn't for that, these players quite like to have stats of what they've done from day one. It would be
well, the stats have been very impressively, and I think quite a sensible call from one of the members today. And I can't recall exactly who did it, but to get a sort of an end of era totting up of the stats.
It's all bragging rights, isn't it? It's all wanting to, but we'll do. So we will do a final. We'll do a final movers and shakers, and give you a final kind of all-time list. And I might even try and do kind of the top 10, do the cards, the stat cards for the top 10 players who've played over the last 38 weeks, so you can see and compare. It's like a top trumps, isn't it?
Yes. Did you mention Trump?
No, we're not allowed to. We get banned.
We're not going there, are we?
No, definitely not. So these guys heads up now, and it's quite even actually. After Christian got his double up, it's and Stefan's allowed that to go all the way down to the river, and Christian's got there with a 9. You'll always make top, Nye. Doesn't matter what the leaderboard is, you'll always make top.
Double
as far
top.
as I'm concerned, yeah. You're always top 10 in our book. No, that's not a problem. Right then, so yeah, so that is pretty much confirmed. So Purple Ackies are gonna pick up the final game week 38 in poker squads. Dylan, Dan, Andy Kingan, and Rudders. Well done to you guys. We'll be sorting you out with some tickets for the Worlds. Very well done to you. And second place looks like it's going to go to the wild cards, which is Matty Ogilvie, Corey, Bode, and Gary. So well done to you guys as well. We will again, we'll sort you out something the equivalent, effectively, into the Worlds. And as far as the MVP goes, let's just double check that I've not got anybody that's sneakily still in there that I've missed. Nope, that's done. So that is going to be Dan Austin, who's going to be the MVP for game week 38. So well done to you, Dan. There's obviously a but that comes with that, though, Des, because there always is with these things.
What's the but?
The but is Dan's going to be in the winning team as well. So the added value for MVP for the week will go down to the second best player, which is going to be Eddie Niexu.
Nice.
So well done, Eddie. We'll sort you out again, something with the equivalent to get you kick started with your world's schedule. So we'll sort that out for you.
Well, the players are on a 5-minute break, Lee, heads up. So I've just put the team game up, and they've just gone on a 5-minute break there as well, of course.
Yeah, well, that's what synchronized breaks are all about, Des. Yeah. If you're
we got an extra 10 seconds out of them, Lee, believe it or not. An extra hand.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's all good. Nothing wrong with that at all.
So I tell you what, Lee, let's have a chat. Football, right?
Are we talking football? Are we?
Let's have a quick.
What a weird weekend it's
right?
been. What a weird. Tell me if you've ever come across a stranger FA Cup third round weekend than what we've witnessed.
Well, there have been some really exceptional stories. I mean, it started off on Friday night with a COVID-ridden Aston Villa having to put out effectively their under-15 team against Liverpool. And they all went in at half-time, one apiece. Fantastic for the lads. Great goal by Villa's 16-year-old Louis Barry. Liverpool sorted them out in the second half, though, so we'll go through to the next round. But it was odd because Liverpool typically do not put out what you might term strong teams in the FA Cup.
Have you seen the teams that Chelsea put out today?
I saw that Werner and Havertz scored, so they must have put out a strong team.
Yeah, they've all been putting strong teams out. Man City put out a strong team.
I think, in Liverpool's case, they've got 9 days, right? 9 days before they play United. So they just wanted to keep everybody moving.
You're not playing midweek, are you? That's
Correct.
You're not playing midweek. Yeah.
So I understand why Klopp fielded a slightly stronger team than he normally might. Now, what's going to be interesting is tomorrow night, the draw for both the 4th and 5th rounds will take place.
I heard this. So they're just... because the 4th round is only actually in a couple of weeks' time, I think.
Around the 23rd, 24th. So yeah.
Do you not think they'd have been better off? I don't know why they didn't just go, right, we're not going to play any league games in January. We're gonna rattle through the FA Cup in January and just and do it that way and get through as many of these games as we can and then
I don't think you can say we won't play any league games in January because, of course, you've got the Euros now. So you've got a hard stop on this league season.
But I saw Mourinho came out the other day and said, he said basically a team that's in Europe can't afford any more than 3 games to be postponed. He said the minute it gets to 3,
it's actually
there's not it physically isn't possible to actually finish. Time.
I don't understand.
His take on it.
I don't understand why there's extra time in these games. I think that was a bit unnecessary.
Although some of the teams needed it.
Yeah,
without it going to the lottery of penalties.
Won't mention any of them in particular, but some of them did.
Yeah,
Brighton, for example. But I'd have taken extra time out. But it's difficult because with the Euros, will they be called Euro 2020? But anyway, the Euros, are taking place in June.
I'll tell you one of the other strange things with the FA Cup round 3 was that some of the games had VAR and some didn't.
Yeah, it depends on, and I get it. I get it. The tech isn't there.
I kind of get that, but interestingly, for the League Cup, they made the decision that there was going to be no VAR until the semi-finals.
Different organisations.
Weirdly, you then had you then had the Man United Man City game where was it like 3 offside VARs in the first half.
Absolutely detail. So listen, big game next weekend. Liverpool at home to Man United. Top of the table clash, right? We need to beat you just to keep you.
You'll be second by then.
I know.
Sorry, Natalie. I shouldn't just be make presumptions about our midweek game.
It's a good point. You're playing Burnley midweek.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, it's the game that got postponed from the first week of the season, basically because of the delayed start for For those, remember those teams that went much deeper into Europe last year than some of the other teams did?
Sorry, Europe.
Yeah.
Fine. That worked out well, didn't it?
Well, not really.
You'd have been top of the league had you not done that.
We only we only like to get to 7. I think they've forgotten. United have forgotten that there's actually finals of these cup competitions. We seem to get to the semi-finals and go, well, that was well done.
Do you know?
Well played, boys. Yeah.
Do you know? I saw something written down today, and I thought of you because you stated a fact last week that I challenged you on that United, based on league results year to date, and I mean year to date. Through crikey, when would it? So for the last 12 months up to January the 9th,
it was the calendar year, wasn't it?
It was the calendar year.
And I think
we're in
think
fact
actually,
a point ahead of Liverpool. You're absolutely right. They were.
Yeah. Well, I thought they were because I thought, but I then wasn't. But then you convinced me that maybe it was actually from when we signed Fernandes, and I couldn't because I think we lost a couple of games in the beginning of January last year.
Having read it,
would have been that. But yeah,
having read it, I still don't believe it. But
it's true.
I did see it. I absolutely did see it.
Yeah. It is a true. It's fact.
Astonishing. Yeah. Absolutely astonishing.
Which is just absolutely mind-boggling. But what's really weird about it is that when Ole came in, he went on a ridiculously good run.
He did.
From that kind of December. And then the wheels absolutely fell off at the start of the following season. And then
no pun intended.
No. And then it came good again.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is again, the start of this season, it was just appalling. But somehow, and I still don't quite know how, we're on the same number of points at the top of the table, and you think, well, how is that even happened?
Well, Liverpool have dropped a lot of points in strange games, but that's okay. That's fine. That's sort of more normality, right? As opposed to what City and Liverpool have done over the last 3 seasons, shall we say? But I have a question for you. So Liverpool United next weekend. Are you going to come and do a live match day video with me? Are we going to do it? Are we going to do it? A Liverpool fan and a Man United fan live match day video watching the game together.
You're far more passionate with live games than I am. I can be quite relaxed about these things, so that's I'm well up for that.
You are then the perfect Man United fan for a Liverpool stream, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. It
should be fun. Let's do it.
Yeah, no.
Let's do it.
We can do that. That's not a problem at all. I say I'm the thing is, because I unlike what I think is the perception of a lot of other fans about Man United fans is genuinely most United fans are sat here going, how are we joint top of the league? like how is that a thing?
Ride the wave.
Expectations are if you offered me right now a top 4 finish and out of the cups and that was it, I'd probably say we'll have that. Thanks very much. Especially with the type of season that we're in. We're still in a transition period. We've still got players that are in the wrong place. We still look so worse a team when Pogba starts.
Yeah.
The guy, we just need to get shot of him, get some money and rejig, because I think there are better players. Donny van de Beek looks great, and for whatever reason, he just can't get in the team at the moment. But he's got that kind of swagger as a player that you just think, if he could get a run in the team and get some confidence, he is going to really make things tick for us.
Yeah.
But obviously, we've got this situation whereby Pogba's on the books and a big amount of money, and we need to shift him. I mean, there's rumors that he might go to PSG. Now Poch is in there, so we'll see what happens there. But as a United fan, for me, I'm just like, well, this is a great season. I don't quite know how it's happened.
It just feels to me like Liverpool in 2017. I know I said this last week as well. They look devastating going forward. It looked like they're always going to score goals, and I think the proof in that is the number of penalties you get. And I know people will forever take the stick out of Man United for all of the pens that they get, but it's because you're just running at full-backs, at centre-backs, at pace in the penalty area. That's how you win pens, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much
that's
it.
How you win pens.
I don't think there's a massive amount of diving or even trying to buy a penalty a lot of the time. I think it's just the fact that they're going at going at players. It's very easy for players to get the abuse of being, they're a diver, and yes, there are some times where it can be fairly obvious, but actually when they're traveling at pace, it only takes the slightest of nick to take them off balance.
I tell you one thing you have perfected, which I think is brilliant. This thing of fouling yourselves in the penalty area. That's amazing.
There's a skill to that. There really is. Did you see that came out this week? And I can never remember the name of the organization that does it, but it's basically they value all the players. But yes, that's it. But obviously not. It's so for anyone that doesn't know, it's not just a case of this is what we think that players with. They build into it the length of the contract and the age of the player and lots of different dynamics to get a valuation. And Sir Marcus comes out top in the world at the moment, which surprised me.
Yeah, I must admit, that surprises me.
Really
I mean, I like
me.
Marcus.
Yeah.
I like Marcus, and he goes through really hot periods where he looks very powerful.
It's Sir Marcus, I think you'll find. Yeah.
Has he been knighted? He hasn't been knighted, has he?
Probably. He's had everything else.
That's fair enough. Absolutely. If it's coming in his future, good for him. He's done some great things in the last year.
It's bound to, isn't it?
I hope so. I hope so.
It's probably in the post.
Yeah, I like him as a player, but he does go through periods too where he finds it hard to hit the net, as every striker does. But
ridiculously, I genuinely thought this year. I thought,
oh, hello.
He's not just we got an all in called Kings versus King Jack.
That's it.
And that is going to be that, I think. And Christian's going to win it. So well done to Christian. He picks up $690, where there's Kings holding against King Jack there. Stefan finishes in second place and picks up $481. Well done to him. And we will watch the squads play out, which has got who have we got left in of our recognised players? Actually, just Donald Sloss, I think, really, of those regulars that have been playing squads. 127 runners in this tonight, so $155 up top. So we'll watch this play out. But yes, I was saying that I'd have said Marcus Rashford was having a okay season, but nothing that great. And then you kind of he's actually got 15 goals already this year. And kind of up there with the top scorers. And you think again, you kind of go, well, when did that quite happen? But again, actually you look at it and kind of, well, actually Greenwood's kind of gone off the boil a little bit. I think he's just had a few off the field issues that have as
King Seven,
Phillips
two pair
are going to get busted by the two pair of Jan, and we're going to be down to 4.
He's done. So he's done well,
and I still don't really think Martial's a number 9. I really don't. I think we look a much better side when Cavani's leading the line with pace either side of him. I think it's a much better fit. Yeah.
That's the type of sensible rhetoric I'm looking for next weekend's video, right? That's sensible. I'm not going to scream you down. I'm just going to talk good common sense. Perfect. Yeah. I tell you, if you gave me a stash of cash and said, right, buy a striker, Des, for Liverpool, I'd probably go for Haaland. He looks amazing at the moment.
Well, he just seems to have this knack, doesn't he? And I actually think we've dodged a bullet by not paying ridiculously over the odds for Sancho, because and I don't know whether it's just that he's gone off the boil because of all the transfer talk, or whether actually just he had a ridiculously good season and hasn't been able to replicate that. It's hard to say, but Haaland's the one that you would I think a lot of clubs would say, well, you'd look to have him, and he's got that kind of Harry Kane feel about him, isn't he? In that you get him and that's going to guarantee you goals.
Yeah, he's very unusual for a tall, thin guy. He's incredibly fast, very agile, and yet he's got strength as well. So,
well, when you think that
he seems to be
type
the real
of player
deal.
His dad was, it's weird, isn't it? Because obviously his dad was a kind of a robust.
Well, I don't know. He played with a limp,
wasn't he? Really
played with a limp. I seem to remember.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Really? Wow.
You were a United fan back then, weren't you?
That was a horrible one.
Tell me, were Leeds playing in the FA Cup today?
Apparently so.
COVID, I think, took them out. COVID.
That will have messed up a lot of people's accumulators this afternoon, I think, when that result came in. I mean, you can understand losing to a lower league side, and when they they hit one of them hits a worldie into the top corner, and that's it. And they hang on for a 1-0, but they got well and truly walloped.
Yeah, they did.
But that's Leeds though in the Premier League.
But they put up quite a few younger players, right? I only saw a few minutes of that game, but there seemed to be some names
they still had some decent. I mean, the keeper had a shocker, but they still had a number of first team players, on the pitch at one point or another.
Well, somebody like a Bielsa might say to himself, "Look, we're not going to win the FA Cup, so I'd rather go out now and focus on the league rather than get into an extended cup run and actually end up getting just dragged into the mire in the league. Let's just get these additional games out of the way."
Ultimately, for Leeds, I would imagine as any Leeds fans out there would say that just finishing in 17th place and being in the Premier League for a second season where they can then look to push on is ultimately a good result. Keep the manager and see what you can then do. I mean, the scary thing is, I suppose, though, it used to be a case where you can see that, but then you take a look at what's happened to Sheffield United, and you think, well,
I still can't figure that one out.
They're gone. It just doesn't make any sense. You can do that, but then you look at the likes of a Burnley, and even a Brighton, who've once you can get there and get some stability. Be interesting to see what happens with Burnley. With obviously they've had a buyout now, and that's all been confirmed.
It's a happy place, Lee. Happy place.
He sounds an interesting guy, actually. I mean, I can't wait till we get Natalie back on the show to have a chat about it. I mean, I've only looked into it briefly, but he's come across and very much gone, right, well, I'm going to come and live here. I'm going to be part of the community, and we're going to do things differently.
He's a proper business guy, right? He's got a proper formal business background. That's not a bad thing necessarily.
No, so I'm quite looking forward to see how that plans out, and I genuinely hope he does give the manager a little bit of money, and we're not talking about going and making blockbuster signings. We're talking about actually just giving him a little bit of money to just build the squad a little bit, so they've got a little bit. I mean, we say whenever we've had Natalie on the show, in the past 9 months, what's the one thing she said is we don't have enough numbers. Simple as that. We've let players go and not replaced, and and they don't have the numbers in the squad, and therefore to be even where they are now is pretty impressive, really.
Oh, agree. Well, you can see from Sheffield United, once you get dragged into it, bloody hard to get out, because they're too good a team to be where they are. What have they still only got 2 points in the league?
I don't see how.
Holy crikey! What's going on?
And the trouble is you would guess that they will go, and they've got enough good players in that squad that they'll just lose a bunch of them. But isn't it interesting though? Actually, it's another team that have gone and signed a young striker from Liverpool and then get relegated.
Yeah, well, they're not playing the kid, so I mean, he's a great striker. They're just not playing him.
But you
25 million.
You've got good money for Brewster, and you've got good money for Solanke.
I tell you what,
went to Bournemouth, wasn't it?
We got 15 million for Jordan Ibe. We got 20 million for Solanke, both to Bournemouth.
Yeah, they got relegated, and now you've sold Brewster to Sheffield United, and looks like they're going to go down. What can you say? I don't get it though, because they appear to be good players, but they're obviously players that Klopp's quite happy to let go for the right money. Clubs are prepared to pay the money because they think, oh, well, they're a Liverpool youngsters, so they must be, they have something about them, and then they just either don't play them, but the reason they're not playing them is because clearly they're not of the level.
Well, if you look at,
you guess.
Yeah, I mean, Solanke, played for England under 21s a few times, but I was never a massive fan of him, and he didn't do particularly well at Liverpool, I have to say. So to get 20 million for him was miracle money, in my humble opinion. It was the market at the time, I guess. Jordan Ibe, I had a lot of time for. I thought he was a great sort of winger, lots of potential. But the problem is, Eddie wanted to play Liverpool-style football at Bournemouth and have wingers and stuff, but actually, that's a hard game to play when you're Bournemouth. It's just a hard game to play if you don't have that level of talent in every position in the team. And Ibe really struggled at Bournemouth. Ryan Brewster just hasn't had the chance. Look at Harvey Elliott. He's gone to Blackpool, and he's absolutely tearing it up in the Championship.
Yeah.
He's doing really well for them.
But didn't Brewster go to Swansea?
Yeah, had a great season last season. Not
so,
alone.
But maybe it's because it's at in the championship. I don't know. Actually, Warren's just made how did we not? I should have talked about this. It's
Crawley,
awesome.
yeah.
If you saw this at the end,
The Towie guy.
So Mark Wright comes on for the last of the 33. Yeah, and
shocking. Absolutely shocking.
If I was Leeds, I think I would have seen he was on the touchline due to come on, because I think they had the ball at the time.
Jackie Charlton will be rolling over in his grave.
I think I would have just literally kept possession for 4 minutes and basically gone, yeah, we're not letting this ball go out of play, so they can bring him on, and just left it as it is. But he managed to get on for, I think he got a touch maybe, or maybe 2, and that was it. But yeah, I mean, what is the world coming to? I hadn't seen any of the build up about it, but obviously then saw it on the match itself. But yeah, what a bonkers situation.
Crazy. And who are tomorrow night's victims? Do we know? Is there a game tomorrow night? There's probably a Monday night.
Somebody is doing the Monday night. Yeah, I'm not sure who it is. So see if I can find out quickly.
Is it Arsenal? Have Arsenal played?
Oh, I don't think Arsenal have played yet. Yeah,
maybe it's Arsenal.
I think it is Arsenal, actually. Yeah. Now you come to mention it. Oh no, it's Stockport against West Ham. Goodness me.
Oh, that's got interesting rows all over it. But I'm afraid, I'm going to have to miss that one.
Yeah, because you'd be washing your hair. Or
rather
something.
watch paint dry. Don, no disrespect if you're on there, my friend.
Yeah, you've got to. There's not a huge amount on it.
Although I have to say, fair play to David Moyes, your ex, short-term manager at United. I think he's done a pretty decent job there at West Ham.
Yeah, it's I think he was always out of his depth. That just as we're all in with Ace King versus.
Here we
Ace
go.
8.
Oh, look at that ace and an 8.
Wowzers! Chip leader, absolutely flying.
Wow.
Jan Babenschneider is massive chip leader now. I mean, that's ridiculous. 9.8 million chips compared to the other 2 guys that have got just around 1 million each. You'd think this isn't going to be hanging on for much longer here, especially as they've got less than.
No, it's all action.
They're sitting on
it's
about
all action
7
here.
Yeah, they've got about 7.
Oh, here we go. It could be over here.
They're all 3 of them are in. Ace,
king,
queen, ace,
king,
10,
king,
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 queen. And a king hits. His king is
an ace on the end.
Oh, wow. Wow. Donald gets saved with the ace on the end, and that means we do lose Ken in 3rd place.
And Jan goes straight for it.
And Jan's now back all in, but Donald's now got a bit of stack again now. So actually, he's got a little bit of play, because actually, just if he wins the hand and gets a double up, then actually
it goes ahead.
Flips flips the chip stack, doesn't it? So 2
little football updates for you, Lee. Karen Mead, the lovely Karen, my supplier of Chelsea tickets, says Arsenal beat Newcastle. Wish they did in extra time yesterday, I think it was. And an Iron says Harvey Elliott is at Blackburn. Of course he is, not Blackpool, at Blackburn. Yes, he is. Ben Woodburn is at Blackpool. Yeah.
So you can always count on the chat to
thankfully
just pick up on our factual errors, which
absolutely
are reasonably regular, so it's not a problem in the slightest. I don't know. I've got this sneaky feeling here. Donald Sloss might do this now.
Well, I tell you what, Lee. Believe it or not, we're watching the last heads up of Poker Squads. How many weeks did it run for? Did we get to 40?
We were 40 weeks, but we actually took a break for 2. So this is game week 38. So
this is 38.
Let me give you. I'll give you some.
Let's do it.
I'll give you some stats on this. We've ended up with 30,565 entries.
Wow,
in
30,000.
Over 30,000 entries in Poker Squads during lockdown since we kicked everything off. We just got over 6,000 unique players.
Wow.
In the end, we got to, let me get the exact number for you. 6,094 unique players had a go at Poker Squads over the last 38 weeks. Which is is pretty damn impressive, if you ask me.
That's amazing. Yeah. That is amazing. And Ackies are going to take it down. And Dan will take the final MVP.
And I'm just going to work out for you because I think this is quite an impressive figure, if I remember rightly. I might need to extend the column to actually get the figure in. It's going to take a minute to work it out. Yeah, Ackies will be on there. I'm trying to think how many they've ended up winning. Let's have a look. This will be Ackies' 7th win, which will put them joint second with Celtic Storm. But Eat My Stack will end up with the most wins. They picked up 8.
Wow.
During
tight. That's tight at the top.
It is. And yeah, so during the 38 weeks of squads, we paid out over $150,000 in prize pools.
Wow, well done the players. Great.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. In my opinion, as Donald picks that one up and takes the chip lead. But as I say, next week we will do a individual leaderboard. All the tournaments, 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. games will carry on. You'll be able to play all your favorite games that you've been playing during lockdown, and we'll just switch it to a individual leaderboard where we'll have some tickets available for the Worlds coming up. So that's pretty cool. Looking forward to that, and we'll keep an eye on the leaderboards. The way the leaderboards will work is it'll be you'll pick up points if you're in the money, similar scoring to what we're going to do for the Worlds leaderboards. So you'll pick up points for the money each night. So we'll still keep recording results.
Just on that particular point, Lee, points for the Worlds. Tris has just posted, guys, can we put a post up sometime in the next week regarding the point system for WCOAP, please?
Yeah,
absolutely.
No problem.
Absolutely. Just all being finalized at the moment, Tris. So once that is finalized, it will go up, and a lot of people will want to see that.
Yeah, I pretty much I've got it all done. I'm just need to run it past a couple of the guys at Party Poker, just to make sure that they sense check it and make sure they're happy with it as well. Because obviously this is going to a wider audience as well. So we just want to make sure that everybody's in agreement that we've not missed anything off that we should do, because obviously there's a nice little prize up top there for that. So we want to make sure it's right. But we will, as you will expect, we will make it as fair as we possibly can.
Oh, here we go.
So as I said earlier on, as it's all in ace jack.
There's the jack. It's going to need to be a king. Oh, not to be.
Not to be. And Donald's going to take a massive, what's that, nearly 5-1 chip lead now. So let's see if he can see this through.
Oh, here we go.
Jan's all in next hand. And here we go. It's going to need to be a queen.
Not to be.
Not to be, and that's going to be it. So Donald Sloths picks up the win for the, I think it's Hit Squad Donald plays for. Last one of the run. So well done to him. He picks up $155. Jan picks up $111 for second place. So well done to him. Yeah, roller winners. Well done to Christian. He won that $690. Stefan picked up $481 for second place, and Harvey McGibbon was third for $338. Well done to all of you tonight who cashed. Superb.
Fantastic. Great night of poker. So, as Lee rolled out all of those stats, guys, I guess, all is left to say is thanks to everybody who's participated in Poker Squads over the many, many weeks, the 38 weeks that it has ran. We've enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed it too. We'll go forward with the leaderboard promos from tomorrow. And, of course, WCOAP to look forward to. That's going to be huge. Really looking forward to that. So, ranking points, player of the WCOAP points will follow over the next few days. Look out for the sats. And I think that's it, Lee. Is there anything that we need to say to the guys before we shut up shop tonight?
No, that's pretty much it. If you've not registered Yeah, on apat.com. Please go and do that. Even if you've
Yeah.
had a forum account before, or you've been registered with us before, it is brand new. So we just need you to go in and pop your details in to make sure you get your added value and bracelets and medals and all that. So we've got all the details for you. Other than that, get playing the satellites for the worlds, and we'll do the APAT show all again next week.
Fantastic, guys. Well, listen, have a great week, and we will see you next week. And for the final time, I shall roll this. Night-night now.